No Man's Sky is a pretty complicated game with a lot of things that you need to get your head around before you can properly enjoy it. So in this video, here's everything I wish I knew before playing, from small tips and tricks to things you really won't be able to go without once you know them. And stick around till the end for the best ways to make each of the in-game currencies. First up, some tips around resources, and you should always remember that you can see what metals are on your planet from the menu, and even as you approach it in space, so don't go looking for something that won't be there. Even better than this though is the catalogue menu for materials and items, which, as long as you've come across the resource once before, can help you find more of it. It's not going to pinpoint exactly where something you need is, but it will prompt you towards finding it, by suggesting you find a different system if it's not in yours, or with the example of chlorine, it tells you that you need to refine salt, and that the salt you need can be found underwater. Now, whenever you're at a resource deposit, it's important to note that the size setting on your terrain manipulator does actually matter. Of course, it's quickest to use the largest one, however the smaller settings actually give you a better yield. You'll get more resources out of the same deposit basically. You can change its size with L1 and R1 or LB and RB if you're on Xbox. Another mention is that if you ever need to clear a large area or deposit really fast, then the flatten mode is definitely the way to go. Also, if you ever need the more common resources that are just found lying on the surface, shooting the ground from your ship is a much faster method than getting them on foot. Just make sure to use your ship scanner first. If you do find yourself getting around on foot though, you can hit melee and then hold down boost to move forwards a lot faster. All that said though, searching for resources isn't always the best way to obtain them. The refining system has a few loopholes that you can use to your advantage to generally multiply what you've already got. In a medium refiner where you have two inputs, oxygen can be added to a lot of elements to multiply it into more. Even if you don't have the medium refiner yet, you can use the portable one in some examples, such as with dihydrogen and its jelly. 30 dihydrogen will give you 1 jelly, but if you refine this jelly back into dihydrogen, you'll get 40 out. It doesn't really make sense, but dihydrogen is needed to top up your launch thrusters, so this is a really good way to get it. In a medium refiner, you can also multiply salt, carbon, and even oxygen, and any of the coloured metals can be multiplied by refining them with chromatic metal, and I'll leave a full list and instructions for all of these linked in the description. Selling your resources, whether collected or multiplied, is then a good way to make a bit of money in the early game. Something you should note though is that each system actually has an independent economy, whereby the prices you get at trade terminals are affected by the supply of each resource in that system. Therefore, if you're selling a huge amount of chlorine, for example, to a terminal, the price will go down for the next time you sell it, so you'll get less and less for it. Luckily, you can get around this in two ways, one being by just going to a new system to sell, or ideally just by selling to NPC pilots instead, which doesn't impact the price. If you really want to abuse it, you can even buy back what you've just sold at its lower price and then warp to a new system and sell it again. That one's on you. Now, before we take a look at a great way to increase your inventory storage, this video has been kindly sponsored by Brilliant.org, an incredible platform for learning everything from pre-algebra and logic to the concepts behind the most topical industries of today, like AI, cryptocurrency, and programming. For example, the content covered in their neural networks course is exactly the basis of how No Man's Sky generates its 18 quintillion unique planets. Their thousands of bite-sized lessons let you learn at your own pace whenever you have time, and their interactivity makes it a genuinely enjoyable and effective way to learn. It's great for picking up new skills and knowledge, whether you're looking to go further in an area you study or work in, or want to branch out and learn something completely new. New content is added monthly, and they also have a great mobile app, so you can even learn on the go. You can try all this for free for 30 days by visiting brilliant.org/averagegamereviews, or the link in the description, and the first 200 people will also get 20% off their annual subscription. But back to No Man's Sky. Now, a problem that everyone can relate to is not having enough fucking storage. There's nothing worse than being far from your base collecting resources only to run out of space for the damn things you need. Now, you can get up to 10 massive storage containers by following the Artemis missions, and they quite nicely sync up between your freighter, i.e. everything in container 3 in your base will also be in container 3 on your freighter. Pretty neat. However, they require power, so aren't portable at all. A sneaky solution to this is to go and unlock and build the nutrient processor. You can pick up one of these for 10 salvaged data at the back of the anomaly, which is also where you'll find the medium refiner blueprint, which I'd recommend as one of your first purchases from there. Once you've crafted it, you can of course process nutrients, or just use it as a nice bit of extra storage. It's portable because you can remove it and place it back down somewhere else without losing any of its contents. Next up are a few things I wish I considered before building my first base, and the main one is to build it near a trade outpost. There's one on every planet. They look something like this, and you can find them just by flying low or by purchasing an economy scanner for your ship. You can get that blueprint from the anomaly also. Importantly, outposts have landing pads, which means you can park your ship there and not have to expend any launch fuel to take off. NPC pilots will also be flying in and out regularly, so you can trade with them or buy their ships if you see one you like the look of. Of course, there's also a trade terminal which will save you many trips to and from the space station. Later down the line, you can get the blueprints for your own landing pads and trade terminal to have them inside your base, wherever you want to put it, but you can have access to them until then by just building near an outpost. Another base that you can have pretty early on is a freighter, because if you don't already know, you can get one of these things for free. They're absolutely massive, you can build most things inside of them and even earn some units passively by running expeditions with frigates, which are smaller ships you can buy to send off on missions. To get one of these for free, you simply warp between systems until you come across a space battle. Opt to join in, and if you successfully defend the freighter, the captain will offer you it completely for free. A mistake I made though was just taking the first one I got offered, which was only a B class. Little did I know you can just decline the freighter and keep warping. You'll eventually come across another battle which could offer you an A or even S tier freighter, and that's definitely worth doing if you plan to use it a lot. You'll get more storage slots and a better hyperdrive. That said, you can only come across another battle once every 3 hours and after about 5 more warps, so plan accordingly. Now there's nothing worse than having valuable cargo on board or being in the flow of a mission when sentinel ships turn up and try to kill you. Luckily, if the situation is going too far south, then you can escape the fuckers by simply calling in the anomaly and heading inside. When you return, they should be nowhere to be seen. If you get attacked while on a planet though and can't fight your way out, your best option is to dig underground with your terrain manipulator. Go decently deep and take a couple of turns left or right. Once you've waited out the search countdown, you should have a window to pop back up and get away. So now on to earning all the main currencies, starting with units. When you very first start out, the easiest way to rack some up is just by scanning everything you see. You'll see that you're awarded units every time you do this. To make it really effective though, you need to upgrade your scanner at a space station. Head over to this guy here and you'll see that the scanner upgrades have a chance of increasing the units earned from scans of plants or animals, which is exactly what you need. To purchase such upgrades though, you'll need nanites, and an easy way to get these is also by scanning stuff. To receive nanites from scans, you need to upload your findings in this menu here, and I'd recommend using the upload all button rather than doing them one by one. It gets pretty painful. Also, if you scan and upload all the life on one planet, you'll receive a pretty decent bonus. Another way to get some nanites, which took me way too long to figure out, is by refining a select few resources, some of which I previously thought were completely useless and used to just discard. You'll end up collecting loads of living slime, for example, whenever you have to remove it to fix something, but that can be refined into runaway mold, which you can then refine again into a nice haul of nanites. The final currency or ready item that you'll need is salvaged data, and I really wish I stayed on top of collecting it from the start, as it ends up bottlenecking your progress. Because it's needed to purchase all sorts of blueprints, such as the refiners, it's worth having some stocked up to avoid having to hunt for it every time you need to unlock something. You can sometimes buy it from smaller outposts, however scanning for and then digging up buried technology modules is generally the way to go, as they're easier to find and buying it can be expensive. So that's everything I have for you in this video. If you have any further questions or any other tips that you want to share, please comment them below. But if you have found it useful, then a like or even a sub would be absolutely amazing. Anyway, that's all, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.